Tuesday nights at 7 on WWDB, on the app, or on any smart device wherever you stream radio. Just ask Alexa. Rover Sports, Tuesday nights at 7 on WWDB.
The heart of sports is moving, aren't we, Jeff?
Same bat time, different bat channel.
You can still catch us each and every Friday on WWDB 860 AM and then on 97.5 Fanatic Networks via their podcast.
More great guests, more interesting stories, and even more fun commentary and hijinks.
That's right. We'll join you this Friday at 4 p.m. on WWDB 860 AM for the heart of sports.
In the mood to listen to good radio and interesting topics? Then don't touch that dial and listen to WWDB Talk 860.
WWDB 860 AM Philadelphia and WPEN HD2 Burlington, Philadelphia.
The opinions and statements expressed in the following program do not necessarily reflect those of WWDB, its staff, or management.
Now the world don't move to the beat of just one drum. What might be right for you?
Good morning, everybody. And isn't it a fine morning this morning? Welcome to another bulletproof episode of Infotainment. Of course, I'm talking about Find It in Fishtown Live here on WWDB 860 AM. I'm Marc Colazzo with the Ava to my Jaja. Good morning, Kae Anderson.
Good morning, Mark.
Kae, it's amazing what a night can do. Last night, a little stressful. We wake up today, sun is shining. We're talking to everybody. Matt's sitting there, of course, dressed in his sports garb. All is right with the world.
As it should be.
You're not kidding. And, of course, all's right in the Fishtown district. Of course, the show, Find It in Fishtown Live, brought to you by the fabulous Fishtown district. Everything awesome, everything great, everything super, everything you need, including riding in on unicorns, giving away candy to strangers, whatever you want to call it. You can find it all here in the Fishtown district. And Kae, if people want to find the details about all the great things that we're doing, where can they find it?
FishtownDistrict.com.
And we have other platforms in which people can really just enjoy, not just, my Northeast Jewish voice. They can actually see our faces as we're putting on this fine presentation. And how can they do that?
They can go to our Facebook page, Fishtown District, or they can catch us on YouTube, Fishtown District.
I don't know how anybody wouldn't after hearing the way you deliver that. It's very pleasant.
I really
very
try.
Uplifting.
It's the morning. You got to put on that smooth voice.
Yes, I always try, and it always sounds not smooth. But Kae, we've just going through. I guess we're probably almost a month in of no restriction, pandemic-free life. I'm going to call it that. I know we're not pandemic-free. What are your thoughts of what you've seen? I want to tell everybody that Ava over here nailed it, and she's smiling, and she is too humble to agree. But, we had our grand reopening celebration, and then Kae specifically handled this Meet on Martha Street event. Kae, and I want to tell you, it was like watching ants, very well-dressed millennial ants, coming out of the ground, coming out to enjoy a great night of, you had great restaurant participation and vendor participation and music. I drank a cocktail. I'm not sure what was in it, but it was delish. We had Calle del Sabor, which I've now told everybody could have been the greatest thing that has ever touched my lips in my entire world. And I'm not kidding. Like, I went back the next day.
I told you they're my favorite tacos.
No, I got the big burrito. You saw I called an audible at the last minute.
I did.
But you really, 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 you nailed it. And, and of course, it wasn't the cocktail talking. 15 times I at least said to you that night, we have to do this again. We have to do this again. So as we're looking at it now, what are your thoughts about what you've seen so far happening in the Fishtown district? Was it what you've hoped about people coming back out? And, where do you see we're going? This is even before we take that long special journey to your corner.
Yeah, I got to say, I am actually a little shocked at the resilience of, our Fishtown folks.
Sure.
Like, they really have, because Fishtown, it has been a little skittish throughout the pandemic. There's been a lot of concern. We were a very mask heavy neighborhood. And we were protecting ourselves, rightfully so. So I was a little concerned that folks weren't going to quite have the appetite to come back out and really enjoy our businesses as well as our streets the way that they used to and we normally do in the summer. So to be able to see exactly how you described it, ants coming out of the woodwork, because I have no idea where those people came from. We literally promoted the event for a week.
Yeah, on social media. That was
social
it.
media. So to hear or to see all of those folks come out, and we probably had close to 700 people.
At least that.
On that street that night. So to see everybody out there, not scared, not totally scared to get close to each other, really enjoying each other's company, seeing, like, there were so many people who came up to me and were just like, this is the first time that I'm out since.
Yeah, and we kind of really saw in full force, how many strollers did you see with people bringing their kids out? How many dogs?
There were more dogs and strollers than there were adults.
And that tells you that this was an outing. They were coming all together from all directions.
Absolutely.
I mean, if a general was choreographing an attack on Martha Street, he couldn't have choreographed it better from all the directions. But there was a lot of smiling face, and it's funny you say that with use the word skittish, because for us, and we're going to talk about this a little later in the show. You and I come on. You were certainly part of the creation of the Business Improvement District. We're probably in this 2 months, and then the world shuts down.
Right.
So all the things we hoped to do, we're now snapping rapid fire doing it now. So you saw a lot of resiliency, a lot of creativity on businesses, especially restaurants and taverns, and we're lucky that our corridor has that, about how to not just keep operating, but also keep people employed.
Right.
And that was a big importance for them. But it was also, I want to give kudos to the residents, because we certainly saw a lot of streeteries and outdoor dining come up, and some of those structures, a lot of them that are gorgeous.
Oh yeah.
And took parking away. Mm-hmm. And it took a lot of patience for them, but they embraced it as well because they knew what this meant. And we don't talk about enough, I think, from an emotional standpoint, how everybody was feeling. Then we had civil unrest hit.
Right.
That really played a role in our corridor and took a lot of out
energy
of everybody.
Yeah.
So you said something that's awesome, and I think that's something we're going to talk about a lot in this hour as we kind of did a little bit of a state of the district, is you get that sense of community that still exists, that's still strong, and why you nailed it is, and listen, I don't even know if you envisioned it happening the way it happened.
Not that big.
But I think it was people wanted to be out together.
Well, and that was the beauty of it, is it felt like the majority of the folks who came to that event walked there.
Yes.
And that was one of the first times that they got to really meet and chop it up with their new neighbors that have literally been quarantined next to them, but still so separated.
And listen, we have to get you shout outs to like Philadelphia Brewing.
Oh, absolutely. Devilfish Inc., Martha, Zigzag Barbecue, Thunderbird Salvage, the band's American Dinosaur and Gringo Motel.
Loved Gringo Motel. I did.
They are fantastic guys. And they're the type of guys that you can literally book them to play on a boardwalk without a PA and they will make it work.
Let's do that. I just want to see it happen.
If we had a boardwalk in the Fishtown district.
Well, that's our next agenda to do. But I think that for us as a staff, we did, think about it, and certainly you've been so heavily involved. We had that Friday, the reopening celebration, and all that took to close it, and you booked the bands and get the vendors out, and the people came, and the press, and the this, and we had to move it, so we had to go through that because of the rain. And then the following Wednesday, you have the food co-op starting their farmers market.
Yep.
And that was awesome.
Yeah, that was fun.
And for me, it was kind of cool because, and I think we know this now, and I think you certainly know it from knowing me, I'm the least well person that you probably know, meaning anything organic I haven't put in my body, any of these. So you got all these like cool like, this is like the best and healthiest soap. And I'm like, isn't soap healthy just by its nature? Apparently not.
No, it's not.
You know, I think I was most intrigued, and you were standing there with me at the gourmet dog treat place.
Those dog treats were
They look delicious.
They probably cost more than your normal 7-Eleven
Yes.
meal.
Yeah, well, that's definitely more than a taquito, but like they have these beautiful cupcakes.
But they're gorgeous, and I'm sure the dogs love them.
And of course, you know, you have a dog, and there was a dog, and they had the sign up of the do's and don'ts of what to feed a dog.
Yes.
So, of course, I don't have a dog, but, you know, our Florida correspondent, my mother does. They have the lovely Eloise, a little poodle. And I know it drives my mom up the wall because Michael, my stepfather, every night he has a chocolate popsicle. And this is, by the way, for as long as they've had her. And he gives it to her. And, of course, right at the top of that sign, it says...
Don't give your dog chocolate.
Like with skull and crossbones,
Yeah.
like, you know. So, though this validates my mother, you know, that's the first thing I thought of. I'm like, all right, they're slowly killing their dog. Good. Anyway, but...
Poor Eloise.
She loves it.
I'm sure she
Happy
does.
as a lark, you know. Sits and waits, you know, and pounces. And it's like ice cream, chocolate ice. It's like that and pretzels.
Oh, wow.
And she's like literally like, no, there you go, this big. So that went well, and you had music there, and it was great to promote what the co-op does.
And we had a ton of Fishtown co-businesses out there too, which is exciting because for those of you who aren't familiar, Fishtown District is not just the business improvement district.
No.
We also have Fishtown Co., which is the business association, which helps out a lot of our off-corridor businesses, non-brick and mortar businesses. So having an event like the Farmers Market, a weekly series nonetheless, where our Fishtown Co. businesses can come out and vend, is something that they've been really looking forward to. So I've been really excited about that.
And just like the patrons and the residents, they've been itching
Absolutely.
to be out, and you could see it. They were literally scratching. That's how much they were itching. And in your quest for world domination, you did that. Then you had Martha Street.
Yeah.
So no one was more tired than you were, you know, and like a trooper you did. And one of the things I think was you have a great event is why on the Martha Street event, while you're leaving, no one else wants to leave.
Yeah, I definitely left before some of the crowd on.
No, I'm old.
that
I left
Thursday.
after I had my big burrito. It was time to go home because I don't even know if I saw the second band come on. I think they were just changing because you had to run back to get them all changed.
Yep.
But people look forward to more of that.
Absolutely.
Okay, again, where can people find out about the upcoming event, which we're going to tease a little bit in our next segment? But where can they actually find all the great events?
So you can always go to fishtowndistrict.com. You can visit us on Facebook at Fishtown District, or we also have an Instagram at Fishtown_district.
Oh, I don't even know what that word was. I just did. So, but and listen, as part of us, as we run a commercial corridor, we try to look, I know I do, to what everybody else is doing.
Right. Absolutely.
Because we have to beat them. And I mean beat them into literal submission. No, we root for everybody.
But, I mean, realistically,
But we do.
We are competing because we want to capture the same audiences that they're capturing, and sometimes on the same day at the same time.
And one of the things that I know that made me feel good and make you feel good is I didn't really see anybody else doing things like that.
Not quite yet.
So, and what is special about what's coming is, listen, there's some great events that were just part of Fishtown that you were part of before I got there that I know will be making their triumphant returns in coming years.
Absolutely.
But then we're going to bring new things that are only going to be at Fishtown. You couldn't go, it's not just we're going to close a street. We're going to do a lot of other fun stuff. So stay tuned as we go through that. But I think everybody's literally been seat belted in. They've packed the family. They've woken the neighbors. They've gotten all their friends together. They've loaded the station wagon. And we're going to take the scenic route as we drive the beautiful scenery that leads us to that magical land called Kae's Corner. I feel that the Kae's Corner music needs to change. And this is no offense to Matt. Like, I've just built this up like we're going to the land of make-believe, and then it's like Nightline came on.
I mean...
It's very light. It's official.
You want some Candyland music?
I don't know. Something a little... I'm going to think of something, because, that's all
Magical
I think of.
unicorns.
Yes.
Yes.
So, as I'm pulling up into my VIP parking spot at Kae's Corner, what's shaking?
We got a lot going on. So if you didn't realize, this is the first holiday weekend
Yikes.
post-pandemic. And I am pumped. July 4th is one of the best weekends in Philadelphia, if you didn't know.
Well, I'm hoping, listen, if they bring the fireworks to my living room in front of my love seat, I am all in. Because all I'm envisioning is after what, our past several weeks is sleep, and more sleep.
Oh, I hear you there.
And of course, working on my fabulous hairstyle. But there's got to be great stuff happening in the district, right?
There definitely is. So if you go over to Rivers Casino, the fabulous, wonderful Rivers Casino.
That's right. Wonderful.
They are having a free community event on the 4th of July. It's going to be a block party. So that's this Sunday. The party starts at 5 p.m. They're going to have live music, vendors, a whole bunch of fun for the whole family to enjoy, as well as, of course, fireworks.
And what's going to be great is today's weather, I think, is literally if you go outside, you will burst into flames. That's how hot it is.
Hump day, yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
Thank you, Camel. But Sunday, I think the weather is supposed to be like normal summer 80s. So it's a perfect day to get out. And again, it's the holidays. There's no better way to celebrate any holiday. And I literally mean from 4th of July to Passover. You got to go to the Fishtown district.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Is there anything else, Kay?
Well,
There's probably a lot.
there's a ton.
Just not just in the corner. I know. I've noticed now that it's the corner has sort of now taken this mythical spot. Like you're the diva of the corner now. So
I don't think I've ever been called a diva before.
Yes, I think I have.
Why does that not shock me?
No, yes.
But I did want to plug that the other wonderful, fabulous Fabrica has, so this is right before you go to the party at Rivers Casino, you can go to Fabrica for their drag brunch. So you go there, you get a little litty, enjoy the festivities, and then you walk on over to Rivers Casino and keep the party going all 4th of July long.
And both of us have been to Fabrica, you multiple times.
Yes.
And it is a blast.
Oh, it certainly is.
You can't not have a good time. Even, remember the movie Weekend at Bernie's? He's actually dead. He would have an awesome time at Fabrica. That's how awesome it is. And you're right, perfect way to spend a Sunday. And then culminate it with a little music, a little food, a little fireworks.
Exactly.
That's pretty much what the Fishtown district is all the time. You just make your own fireworks.
Very, very true.
Awesome. I like that. So what do we have today to shake our moneymakers to?
So, Kae's track of the week.
Kae's track. Kae's track. Kae's track. Kae's track of the week.
For the record, though,
Word.
we're never changing that one.
No, I love that. That's my favorite one, actually.
So this week for Kae's track of the week, we are actually featuring a kind of brand new artist in Philadelphia. So his name is Kilo the artist, and he has this I'm gonna screw this up, but I believe an African flavor to him.
Interesting.
And he speaks some French, so some of the songs that he has are partially in French, which gives a really international vibe to it. And he's borderline between R&B and soul, and like some real poppy hip hop. So he's really that crossover artist that is super marketable for today's age.
You know what's cool about all the tracks that you bring? Certainly I've noticed it. It is a bringing together of very almost different styles. And
Absolutely.
They're all interesting. They all work. So I'm looking forward to hearing this. I'm actually going to stand so that I could just let the hips fly.
Oh, well, and Mark, this one's for the ladies too.
Everything's for the ladies.
So the
thank you.
song actually features Son of the 215, who we've heard tracks from before.
Yes.
He was on that track with Freeway, State of Emergency. And Kilo is actually being brought up under Son of the 215. So he is Son of the 215's artist. Brand spanking new, like I said. So
Hope there's not going to be a quiz on who's who.
the song is called Superwoman. And it's really just, giving it up to all of those amazing, wonderful women who hold down the men who need it.
Appreciate you.
So let's get into it.
Nature is created so beautiful, and I can't love anyone else. Do I love you, baby? It's just impossible. 'Cause you stole mine, I let you keep it. I keep it, darling. You keep impressed me, girl. The way you was demonstrating, girl. You caught me off guard. I didn't know you had it on you. Goddamn. I'm falling for your love. All I think about is you. Hey, I cannot ignore how I feel about you. My superwoman, love. Always be the one I've been waiting for life. Clearly all I want is you. She said, baby, I'm yours. Baby, I'm yours.
God, ain't no need to ask where I've been. You stuck around while a lot of people blowing the wind. You're my only wife, so I love fight the sin. Nights just feel better when you're holding me close. Had to go on the run, you will hold the toast. Make a toast to Kilo, African Neo, S-O-N, my superwoman gotta be though. An empress, a temptress. Look at her, wonder how God made the image. Kinda vintage, caught me off guard like goddamn, I'm locked in. Let's catch a flight somewhere, spend the night in. Put that ass to sleep, I'm biting like Tyson.
You keep impressing, girl. The way you was demonstrating, girl. You caught me off guard. I didn't know you had it on you. Goddamn. I'm falling for your love. All I think about is you. Hey, I cannot ignore how I feel about you. My
So that was
superwoman.
Kilo the artist and Son of the 215 with Superwoman.
We should just give you your own show to program music. Because every week it's like, that was awesome. I love, by the way, of course, I love the only part of the song that I could do, which would be the do like that. But great vibe, a little 80s-ish in there. But
Absolutely.
very, you almost need a neck brace for all the ways your head's going to be bobbing.
Right.
So where can people check out Kilo?
Kilo. He is on Spotify, so you can find that song there. That's Kelo, the artist.
I'm on it. And we're going to take a break so everybody can kind of calm down.
Right.
Let their hearts start simmering down after shaking their moneymaker. And we're going to be back in 2 and 2 with Find It at Fishtown Live.
It's been part of Philly for over 10 years, so Rivers Casino Philadelphia knows how you like to play. With better odds, more playtime, an upgraded rewards program, plus a state-of-the-art sports book, great restaurants, and more. Everything that real players want, without the overpriced distractions. Rivers Casino Philadelphia is for those who play to win, not play to pay for some fancy new place. Rivers Casino Philadelphia, always on our game. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Eleanor steals your heart. She was diagnosed at 5 weeks old, a type of leukemia, and it's associated with Down syndrome. Being able to come to St. Jude was a blessing and the best place for her talking to the doctors and nurses. They were on top of it. They got this. We got this. It's going to be okay, and we're going to get through this. Here, it's like a celebration of life. There's so much great stuff happening. The doctors and nurses are her best friends, and you can tell that they love her, and you could tell she loves them, and that relationship is just amazing. We're just so grateful for them.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Hi, Toby Keith here. Like most of us, I love driving, but too many people die every year on America's roads. So always buckle up, slow down, drive sober, stay focused on driving.
I'm retired Sheriff John Wetzel. Every day, officers enforce traffic laws to keep our families safe on the road. So drive smart.
And do your part to save lives.
A message from the National Sheriff's Association.
Welcome back, everybody, to another fun-filled edition. Ooh, bloopers. We're going to have to make a blooper show, and it's usually always me screwing up. You're, of course, listening to Funded in Fishtown Live here on WWDB 860 AM. I'm Mark Colazzo with the Willis to my Arnold Drummond. That's, of course, the characters from our theme song, Different Strokes. And, of course, I'm talking about Kae Anderson. Kae, yes. Were you honored to have Country Hall of Famer Toby Keith in studio to do that live read? That was pretty impressive.
Yeah, I had no idea he was coming down today.
No, and all he did is he peeked in, did the read,
yeah,
bye.
Bye.
That was it. He was like, Marc and Kae, take care. That's my Toby Keith impersonation. And I know people are going, oh my God, how did he come in? But anyway, by the way, Matt, we have a question. So as we go through our tracks of the week, and they're awesome, I think we all can agree. Here is a very important question. What words, and you don't have to answer on the air because the question will, of course, what words are prohibited from like songs that we, because this is a modern time, we're a modern show. No one is more hip than the two of us.
Clearly.
We want to make sure that we're following, FCC rules and WWDB rules. But like if, we know certain words you can't say. So maybe make a list because that's going to help in future shows. Instead of us just acting surprised. Oh, my God, I didn't know they could say that word.
Maybe like words you wouldn't say to your grandmother?
You don't know my grandmother.
Okay, somebody else's grandmother?
I don't know that I'm the
Mark?
I don't know that I'm the one you want making this decision. But think about that.
Okay, I will.
And again, I know you can't say them on the air because that would defeat the purpose. Though you would be the coolest human being ever if you did it.
I thought you said I already was.
You would actually surpass yourself.
Oh,
it would be Matt Part 2.
Oh my God!
But the world has been craving this, and we had to keep everybody waiting because, Kae's Corner is just so special. But we gotta at least go through and play everyone's favorite game show. What's Marc wearing?
Oh, hi, Mark.
Hi.
What are you wearing? What are you wearing? What are you wearing today? What are you wearing? What are you wearing? What are you wearing today?
And what am I wearing today? Of course, is brought to you by Fabulous Fabrica. Notice now it's just instinct. As soon as I hear "Hi, Mark," I say "Hi." Yeah,
I love it.
It's politeness.
Mark, I have a question before we get into your fabulous outfit. Do you do a lot of laundry?
I do. I just did it last night. Because
you always have a new outfit that I've never seen, and I'm
like Cher.
I really feel like I'm behind.
And you have to remember now that I'm wearing the summery dressy shirts.
Right.
They need special care.
I figured.
So I have to first you have to dry them for about 10, 15 minutes. Then and I'm making, of course, the universal sign for, flapping them out.
Right.
Then you hang them.
Oh.
You
don't have to iron them?
I also, no, I'm not an ironer.
Okay.
I don't think me holding something scorching hot
a
is
smart
going to lead
decision.
to any good results for me or the shirt.
Oh, that's probably true.
But I think the problem is, and you know this because I came in the other day and said, well, I saw on my phone that I bought something at 4 a.m. and I don't remember buying it. So I just sort of like, oh, that shirt looks cool, but I literally have stacks of them.
Wow.
So I have to stop. But I almost do it like, all right, what, just for this show, what am I going to wear? Because let's be honest, there's like screeching, screaming crowds out there.
Oh, yes.
Thank you, ladies.
But
who are crying for it. Matt's actually looking.
I could see them.
You see them? They're walking. Yeah, they're very. It's because it's hot out. They're actually in their cars.
Right, and they're driving too.
Yes. So today, I love the colors of this, but we all grew up, no matter what your age, and I think I was actually one of the first original fans of this show when it came on in 1969. I'm talking about Woodstock. No, I'm talking about Sesame Street. And Ernie, of course, Ernie and Bert fame, used to croon this classic song. Rubber ducky.
Oh, rubber ducky, you're the one. You make bath time lots of fun. Rubber ducky, I'm awfully fond of you. Bovo Bodio, rubber ducky, joy of joys.
I think we got that. And there's nothing better than the Vodododio.
And for the record,
That's
Mark,
French, by the way.
These are references that I totally get, and I know that song.
Save this one. It is 8:30 and 37 seconds. After how many episodes of Find It at Fishtown Live, Kay actually knows an old man reference that I've given. So today, of course, I'm bringing out, what color would you say that is? That's blue or purpley?
No, that's an aqua.
Aqua. And, of course, the bright yellow rubber duckies in honor of Ernie and his unibrow. Or no, Bert had the unibrow.
Yeah, did Ernie have eyebrows?
No, I don't remember. I don't remember. But he loved that duck. Loved
yes, he
it.
did.
And, again, growing up with the show, as my mom would say, that was her salvation. Because...
that was the only time you weren't bothering her.
Yes, yes. And it was on twice a day.
Ernie did not have eyebrows.
Bert had the unibrow, though.
Yeah, he took them off.
Yeah. He was a little more well-groomed. That's why he was in the tub singing all the time.
Right, makes sense.
And I could actually count in Spanish before I could count in English from watching the show. So that really hasn't gotten me anywhere, but it's a nice story that my mom tells. I don't remember it, obviously. But I want to make sure that we all match. So for those that can see it, you have to wear the yellow.
Yes.
That matches the yellow. And I got to keep my sock game up.
Absolutely.
So I've got, of course, Butters, the unsung character, I think, of South Park.
Butters is one of my favorite
Love
South Park
Butters.
characters. I agree with you. He is definitely unsung.
And it says one of his favorite sayings is, son of a biscuit.
I love it.
So, and it's got the yellow there. So I've gotten sort of every theme I could.
I like this.
Phillies underwear, by the way, because they won yesterday.
Hey.
And that's where they belong.
I want to be clear that Mark doesn't just dress like this for our radio show.
No, this is every
day. Mark has an amazing shirt on that is usually at least brought up in one of our meetings.
Well, and especially, and I think the problem is now people are encouraging me. We were with Antoine Johnson yesterday, one of the finest PR people in the city.
Absolutely.
And he actually looks forward to whatever shirt I'm wearing.
I got to be honest, the martini shirt is probably a new favorite of mine.
Oh, thank you.
I like that one.
I almost bought another one.
I like the other one that you wore this week with the donuts and the ice cream. That was a good one, and the burgers.
Because I'm all about good health and wellness.
Absolutely.
And I got yesterday, came in my Pulp Fiction one with the Pulp Fiction characters on
yes. I remember you telling me about that
one. I got to figure out where to go next.
Right. Do you have the socks for that?
Of course I have socks.
Okay.
Of course I
want to make sure.
I actually, I got a Rick and Morty shirt. Do you watch Rick and Morty? You have to watch Rick and Morty.
I've seen
Matt
Rick and Morty.
Matt, do you watch Rick and Morty?
I've never seen one episode.
What's wrong with you people?
Everything.
Well, Kay's seen it at least. It's actually very funny. My son, of course, turned me on to it. He stopped watching a season ago. I'm still in. So I got a shirt with them on it, and I'm like, well, the socks just came yesterday. So maybe that'll be next week, but it'll be a surprise. But back on track again. And, not that everyone doesn't love this.
No, this is definitely infotainment.
The witty banter that goes back and forth is, let's go back in time, Kay, to before I arrive here. You're part of the creation of the Business Improvement District.
Yes.
So tell us first, tell our listeners who are on the edge of their seats, what a Business Improvement District is and does.
Ooh, wow, Mark, that's a great
How about
question.
that segue?
So, a business improvement district is a special services district, for lack of a better term, that is set up by city council ordinance that allows us to collect allows an organization to collect an additional assessment, so money based off of the property value of a specific geographical area, and then deliver services with that money.
And there's about 18 of them in the city of Philadelphia, from Center City, Old City, Manayunk, etc.
Yep.
Fishtown probably, I guess, is the latest edition. I don't know if anybody after that.
I believe that Callow Hill is trying again, and there is a reauthorization that has happened since. But
well, I know Mayfair, where I worked before, their business improvement district, they reauthorized upon me leaving.
Oh, okay, yeah.
A lot of tears with that, of course, but I'm glad they did. But why is that? What value? I guess one of the people would ask, well, what's the value to doing that? Because people are coming. Why would they want to make that extra investment?
Well, so a lot of the services that our commercial corridors receive are not necessarily sustainably funded. So we all know that Philadelphia is one of the poorest large cities, and we have a budget crisis almost every year. Where we're trying to figure out how to allocate the small amount of resources that we have to solve all of the larger issues that we know are present and plaguing our city. So there's a great network of nonprofit organizations that have formed to kind of fill in the gaps. And this is true of almost every large city in America.
Sure.
There's a huge network of nonprofits, but a lot of these nonprofits can only get grant funding based off of specific census data and areas of need. So, there's a lot of regulations when you're applying for grant funding that you need to make sure that you're using that funding to help the areas that need it the most.
Sure.
So when places like Fishtown start to develop a little bit more and they're no longer low-income areas, a lot of those services that had historically been present are no longer fundable by these same grant sources.
Right.
So we need to figure out a new way to continue to provide the same street cleaning services, small business assistance, marketing programs, events, and things like that make our neighborhood a great destination and continue our growth.
And I think one of the things that's, and listen, we get that all the time. And listen, we start, pandemic hits, people are financially strapped.
Mm-hmm.
And so you will always get the question, well, what is it that I'm paying for?
I know you get that question a lot,
I get it
Mark.
quite a bit. And, listen, we have the answers ready to go because we know exactly what they're doing and what we're doing.
And if you want the answer to that question, please check out our annual report that is available at fishtowndistrict.com.
Well done and unprovoked.
Hey.
Atta girls. Hey, you should host this show. Oh, you already do.
Getting in where I fit in.
So, but and I think that's the thing, because it's sometimes, yes, the city does provide services,
mm-hmm.
but it's a big city and
mm-hmm.
resources are stretched thin as it is. We're seeing that with trash collection now.
Absolutely.
We're able to jump in to do those things, but also to really fit, like, as you, in fact, for example, you were part of the creation of the bid and part of the group that did that. Well, the priorities were set by the constituents, right? By
100%.
By polls and surveys
mm-hmm.
that they took.
Mm-hmm.
So in essence, we're giving them the services that they asked for that they weren't getting.
Absolutely.
So as we start through this journey together, and how have you thought, and I'm going to jump in, of course, too, how have you thought, pandemic and everything, that first 15 months has gone. Not as you envisioned it, but...
Oh, not at all. And I think one of the things that folks have this misconception about when it comes to business improvement districts is they liken business improvement districts to quasi-government agencies.
Yes.
And there's this idea of what bureaucracy looks like. And I want to be very clear that business improvement districts are lean, mean machines. You are looking at 2/3 of the staff of our entire business improvement district. And I don't want to toot our own horns, but I think that the amount of things that we were able to get done with a completely strapped budget in the first year of operation in the middle of a pandemic, I think it's pretty outstanding.
And listen, there you go.
Hey.
Thank you very much. Again, the masses outside continue to assemble, and of course the roses at our feet. But in all seriousness, it is, in coming in, there's always opposition. As I came from a world of government, city and state government, and one of the early lessons you get is with elections, no one wins by 100% of the vote, ever.
Ever.
So what the pandemic oddly allowed us to do was really show what value we could be.
Absolutely.
In essence, I know, and I'm very proud of that, of the grant money that came into the city of Philadelphia for our businesses, our small businesses, 10% of it came to our corridor businesses.
Absolutely.
And that was because we made a very concerted effort to not only get it to them, but be parts of making sure that they filed and followed up and advocated for them. We were able to get $75,000 a year award from the city to clean. I think we're the only bid that got that.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we don't want to make it like we're just yay us, but we had to pivot on the fly too. What was that like for you? And because I know you and I had, okay, here we're going to come in and we're going to do this, and then the world shuts down after 2 months, and we've got to completely go another way. Kay and I hardly saw each other because I would go in the office because I can't work from a love seat, but we couldn't be around each other.
Right. And I had only started, less than a month before we were out of the office.
That's right. You were coming from New Kensington, CDC.
Yeah. So, Marc and I had barely even gotten a chance to get a feel for how each other operates and what our division of labor was going to be before, we really had to be in the thick of all of it. And there were definitely times where I will say I have never in my profession since probably my first 2 years doing corridor management felt as much like I didn't know what I was doing than during the last year.
There was no rule book for anybody, right?
Anybody.
For businesses, for government, and certainly, listen, you nailed it. And what was wonderful is, and I always say this, the stuff that you love to do, I hate it.
Yep.
And vice versa.
Yep.
So we just sort of picked it up, and we just realized very quickly we have to service constituent services. Yes, we got to clean up the trash. We cannot stop cleaning up the trash. But we got to make sure that everybody feels that they are being taken care of. And I think in an odd way, that pandemic helped bring all of us and bring a value that I don't think that they saw.
I completely agree. And I think that even while we were doing the business improvement planning, there was a lot of understanding that we were going to clean the streets and we were going to throw big events, but folks didn't realize the other facets that go into what it is that we do for our businesses. And I think that a lot of those soft skills, a lot of that helping folks through regulatory changes, a lot of those grant writing types of things that we don't talk about as much because they're not as visible of impacts.
Sure.
I think that got highlighted in a great way during the pandemic, which also helped us build value for our businesses and build up those relationships as a first-year bid.
And we're going to take a quick break because then we're going to talk about where we're going.
Yes.
And that's always the more exciting part. So we've teased it enough. The suspense is building. We're going to be right back at Find the Fishtown Live.
It's been part of Philly for over 10 years, so Rivers Casino Philadelphia knows how you like to play. With better odds, more playtime, an upgraded rewards program, plus a state-of-the-art sports book, great restaurants, and more. Everything that real players want, without the overpriced distractions. Rivers Casino Philadelphia is for those who play to win, not play to pay for some fancy new place. Rivers Casino Philadelphia, always on our game. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Wonder if you should get tested for colorectal cancer? Well, it's the second leading cancer killer in the U.S., and screening helps prevent it. So if you're 50 or older, it's time. Even if it doesn't run in your family. Most often, colorectal cancer occurs in people with no family history. And it doesn't always cause symptoms, especially early on. So don't wait for symptoms to get tested. Screening helps prevent the disease by finding precancerous polyps so they can be removed. Remove the polyp, prevent the cancer. Screening also helps find colorectal cancer early when treatment works best. You might be thinking, oh no, not that test. But here's the thing, you have options. There's more than one screening test. Talk to your doctor to find the one that's right for you. No more excuses. If you're over 50, get tested, because colorectal cancer screening really does save lives. A message from HHS and CDC's Screen for Life campaign.
My name is Corporal Bradley Joseph Seitz. Jerry Reed.
Kate Weber.
These are real veterans facing a real challenge.
I have PTSD.
And I have PTSD.
I have PTSD.
Post-traumatic stress disorder can happen to anyone.
I was still in a war zone in my mind.
But treatment can turn your life around.
Treatment has really saved my life.
To learn about PTSD and how treatment can help you, call your local VA medical center or visit ptsd.va.gov.
We are back, and where did the time go? But of course, I forgot to say in the beginning, what you talking about, Philadelphia? You are listening to the State of the Fishtown District here on Find It at Fishtown Live, brought to you by the fabulous Fishtown District. And because we're limited to time, I'm just going to say, you know where to find us.
You sure do.
And you better keep finding us. So, Kay, we kind of talked about a little bit about the hardship of the 15 months. And I don't know that words can do it justice, but I think everybody knows it because they have their own stories to it.
Absolutely.
But it is now June 30th. We are about to begin the month of July.
So we can get into that good stuff.
That's right. First off, I'm going to throw you a softball. If you were a doctor, prognosis for the future, our patient, the commercial corridor.
Oh, we're making a beyond full recovery. We are growing. We are back. Prognosis is fantastic.
It is, again, and this is kudos to our business community for how we really didn't have closures.
Really, at all.
We continue to have growth, meaning not just building, but each week we get 1, 2, 3 businesses telling us that they're coming. And I think what's so great about that, Kay, is it's also they're not just coming in that one section of the corridor, what I'm talking about, where like Frankfurt Hall is and Johnny Brenda's, which is awesome.
Right.
They're starting to do, which is one of our really big things that Kay and I wanted to make sure of, is we needed to build up Frankfurt and Lehigh, all the other parts of the corridor. And now things are coming there in the coming days and months. And how do you think our corridor will change? Whether for the good or for the bad. No, well, not for the bad. With that coming forward, with all that's coming.
I think that we've seen tremendous growth in the last even just 3 or 4 months in the East Kensington neighborhood, which East Kensington, for those of you who are not so familiar with the Fishtown District area, East Kensington is the northern portion of our service area. And that area is very specific and unique because of its long industrial history. There's a lot of really interesting building mix and a lot of different types of manufacturers, and that industrial spirit has continued to live on in that neighborhood. So we're seeing a lot of new food manufacturing, a lot of new creative spaces opening up there. And that really excites me because it we talk about commercial corridors all the time.
Sure.
But East Kensington is much more of a mixed use community where there is a commercial spot that is, on every corner almost, and it's filled with new and unique different things to see. So that area of our district really excites me, and I think that that's a huge area of growth for us, and I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, and we, we make a concerted effort that we try to bring businesses to property owners.
Absolutely.
And like to pat ourselves. I think we're doing a pretty good job of that with, with the amounts of restaurant and it's diverse things. We're not getting the same things, and we're getting a tasting room for different type of brews. We're getting places that we don't like vacancies here in the Fishtown district, so we're always giving ourselves the air high fives when we fill one, like at Fishtown Brew Pub. Mm-hmm. I think it's a North Jersey brewery is coming in, or South Jersey.
Somewhere in Jersey.
Somewhere in Jersey. There's a brewery coming. We have a cool cigar lounge, which for bon vivants like myself. And I think that's always the thing is we are now we know people, we are a destination.
Absolutely.
Not everybody can say that. And now our goal is, okay, well, we know that we have an audience here, but we want to be that audience where, you're getting off the airplane in Philadelphia or Trenton, and you're coming to stay with us because in one of our great boutique hotels, we've had the local on, and eat, shop, everything you need is right outside your door. You don't need to go to Center City. You don't need... Because to be honest, and no, this is not a slight, there is such a personality and charm, and I think, Kay and I, we one of the things we wanted to make sure is how do we ensure a long-term growth. We brought in ISA architects to do a master plan.
Yes, we did.
And we're so proud of being, we're about to unveil that, but I think you'll agree that it had to keep the tone and personality of who we are.
Absolutely. I know that that's something that people have been attracted to move to Fishtown because of its charm, because of its uniqueness, because you find things in Fishtown that you can't find anywhere else.
Find it in Fishtown. I wonder if that should be a slogan.
Right? But I feel like that has really become the brand of what Fishtown is. So it's been... Hey... Exactly. We are the best around.
That's what I play when I wake up every morning. That's how I walk around the house.
That's his alarm.
Yes. I am the best around.
But I think that, and as somebody who's worked in Fishtown for their entire career.
You have.
I have been helping businesses in Fishtown for the last, 10 years. So that was something that was very important to me. That's why I stuck around. And there's something about this neighborhood. There's something about the people who made this neighborhood that keep you coming back and keep you wanting more. So I'm very excited to see, our Fishtown businesses continue to thrive and grow.
And for me, that's why, when I saw this, the Fishtown, Kensington area bid happening, I certainly followed from where I was because I was ready for a bigger challenge. And it was the perfect type of community to come to. Mm-hmm. So many different voices, so many different types of people with so many. The shared vision is growth, but they keep their personal touch to what they bring. So you have Milk Crate, which is a cafe vintage record store, which you wouldn't necessarily think would work, but it's awesome. And I think that's the type of thing. And one of our board members, Roland, got to give a shout out to Roland, always likes to say, what we have, nobody else has.
Right.
And they want it.
Mm-hmm.
So we want you to come and get it. But, Kay, we're going to close in a little bit, but by asking you the question that you always ask everybody, it's, what are your favorite places in Fishtown?
Ooh, wow, this is tough.
And we know that you're not going to be able to mention everybody, so no one should feel slighted.
Right. So
as she slights them.
Right. Let me just run down a few. So my favorite tacos are Calle del Sabor.
Which means?
Street of Flavor, I think.
That's exactly it.
My favorite nachos are Loco Pez.
Yes.
Because, you got to keep those separate. My favorite burger is Kraftwerk, but Johnny Brenda's is a very, very, very close second. My favorite wings are... my favorite wings...
Stumped, aren't you?
Yeah, I need to eat more wings in the Fishtown district. That's what that's telling me. My favorite grocery store is the Kensington Community Food Co-op. My favorite retail store, I love Jinxed. Jinxed
Absolutely.
is really cool.
Got to give Mike a shout out.
My favorite cafe is Amalgam. And I think I'm running out of things. My favorite place to go and enjoy a night out is definitely either the Barbary or the Saint.
It's fun. And you just literally gave the best example of how many different types of things we have. And you only sort of scratched the surface.
Barely.
And I think, like you mentioned, the Barbary. I think I spent New Year's Eve at the Barbary 1994. And in many ways has kept some of that same gritty charm. And I know Ravi's doing a great job with it now, expanding it and making it better. For me, listen, I love Amalgam because that I one of the places I knew before I even came here.
Oh, Bottle Bar East.
Bottle Bar. Hey, Brad,
I forgot
gotta
my
give Brad
my favorite food. Like, this is overall food. Like, there's nothing bad on Bottle Bar East's menu ever. And they do have great wings, so that's on there. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, you did. No, you're doing great because we're gonna come. Like for me, there's Chew, there's Nunu. Love the octopus at Mulherron's.
So I've never been to Chew or Nunu yet.
Well, that's on the list. Make sure everyone you go to all the places Kay and I just mentioned, and we're gonna be back for another dazzled-filled episode of infotainment here on Finding the Fishtown Live here on WWDB 860 AM. Bye bye, Kay.